windy UK, and yes, I am in a jumper today because it is a typical autumn day here in the UK. So welcome to another Instagram live, and today I am speaking with a lovely lady all the way from Brisbane, Australia, Megan. I think I've pronounced that okay. So let's get a few people on. Hi everyone, good morning. Good morning everyone. Let us know where you're from. Let us know if you're from the wet and windy UK or if you're from Australia. So let us know, and I'm just going to invite Megan in. So I've just invited Megan in. So that's gonna take a couple of moments.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello, how you going?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Good. It's actually quite cool here tonight.
Oh, do you know what? It's freezing here. It's the first day I'm actually put a jumper on. I woke up.
Oh wow.
Oh my god. Normally we've had like 30-degree heat, 28, and today is the first time I'm actually in a jumper. So.
Oh wow.
Autumn.
It's been hot here all day.
Oh god, I wish I was there. I really wish I was there. Thank you for joining me this morning or this evening, in your terms.
Yep.
So for everyone that is watching, the Face of Sepsis interviews offer me the opportunity to speak to people from all around the world to tell their stories, because we all have different experiences. People have sadly lost children, parents, husbands, wives, but on the other hand, people are parents to child survivors as well, just like the lovely Madeline. So Megan, am I pronouncing your name right?
It's Megan. No, Megan.
Megan. Right, I'm gonna have to try that one. Okay, so if you would like to just introduce yourself and then just tell us a little bit about Madeline, and then we can get into what happened.
Yeah, that's fine. So I am a single mum of 3 children. So my oldest daughter's 10, my son's 6, and Madeline's 4. So she ended up getting sepsis last year in December, very unexpectedly. She'd gone to kindy like a normal day, like she normally does, and by 8 o'clock that Tuesday night she had deteriorated, and my oldest daughter found her convulsing and no warning. So I got into the lounge room and she was convulsing over and over. So I got called 000, which is our emergency number over here, and they thought she just had an infection. But 10 minutes into the ambulance ride, she had become unresponsive and pale as a ghost. So as a result, they end up calling the Queensland Children's Hospital, which is our major hospital in Brisbane, and they suspected sepsis. And I've heard of it, but never thought she'd get it. So we got to hospital and she was white, unresponsive. Oh, it was the hardest thing I've ever seen my daughter go through. And so we got all the way up there, and by 9:30 they had started, it's the sepsis pathway.
Right.
So you had to sign all the paperwork, and Doc said, you need to fill this in now or your daughter's going to die. So they had 2 cannulas in her tiny little hands, and x-rays, and 3 doctors signed off on the pathway in a matter of half an hour. And she was just unresponsive, laying there, nothing to her, pale as a ghost. So it was the most scariest, it was very confronting.
And it just so quick.
Very quick. So, yeah, she'd been at kindergarten that whole day and no signs. The kindy didn't pick up on anything. And by 8 o'clock that night, that was it. She just went downhill like no tomorrow.
It's just so scary how quick it can happen, isn't it?
That's right.
When I had a brief overview that you sent me, do you know what? I was extremely impressed by how quick the Australian healthcare system picked up on sepsis, and they dealt with it. They detected it and they dealt with it so quickly.
Very quick.
Is that obviously, have you done research? Have you spoken to other people that live in Australia? Was that just a one-off with Madeline, or is that genuinely?
So she's had nearly a repeat of sepsis early this year when I messaged you, actually.
Yeah.
but the big one in December nearly could have taken her life. So, but they were pretty quick to act on it, which I was pretty lucky. They get the big pathway sheet and they tick all the boxes. And the one I sent you had all the 3 ticks down the very bottom,
Yeah.
which kind of verified, yep, she's in trouble. But yeah.
I was so impressed with just how quick it was dealt with, because sadly, obviously, as you're aware, with the campaign that we ran this year, the hashtag around the world in 13 days, the amount of children that had sadly lost their lives, and just because it went undetected, it wasn't dealt with in time.
It gets ignored over here.
It's so refreshing to speak to somebody that has had a positive experience. So tell us about Madeline now. How is she? So
she's nearly 4.5 years old. She's off to, it's called prep over here in Brisbane, Australia. It's before they go to like year 1 and 2, their very first year of school when they turn 5.
Yeah.
So they go off to a tiny little school in their little uniforms, and so she'll be off to school next year. So she's in kindy at the moment, which is like before you go to school and gets them ready for school. But she's loving it. She's a crazy 4-year-old, but she's getting nice.
Is she much better now? Have you noticed anything different? Because obviously now we have what we call post-sepsis syndrome.
She's showing early signs of that.
Is she?
Yep.
Okay.
Constantly tired and getting especially the lethargic moments before when she was sick. You can pick it up on it now, and she doesn't remember being sick either, which is the memory loss that I was told from the post-sepsis syndrome as well, which makes it very scary, and try and make sure no other warning signs come up in the meantime.
Yeah, and especially for a young child, obviously, because she's not going to be as aware as what you and I are. You know, as a sepsis survivor myself, I know what to look out for. A young child
there's no warning signs.
There's no warning signs. There's nothing that they can keep an eye out for. And so, as a parent, would you say that you're more aware of sepsis now? Do you know?
Yeah, definitely. Especially on how can I put it? The fevers that come up with no warning as well, because she had the fever.
Yeah. But
that was the only really big warning sign she had. But having a fever could be, the sign of an early infection. I never ever thought it would have been the most thing of being sepsis of all things that attacked her lungs and gave her pneumonia from it of all things.
Yeah. And would you say, so with everything that's going on at the moment, obviously I don't know what the situation's like out in Australia. How have you been? Have you been, as a mum?
We're doing well. She's actually been COVID tested. She had to be COVID tested because of the sepsis precaution.
Wow.
And it was negative, thank goodness. But I've had the sepsis clinic in the kids' hospital here ring me every lot so often. No fevers, no warning signs. And that's about it, really. So she's been reasonably lucky at the moment. But she's got a lot of other ongoing things as well.
Is that because of sepsis? Is this what they've brought on, or?
No, when she was 8.5 months old, she was diagnosed with food protein intolerance syndrome. So she can't eat many foods, and she's got history of anaphylaxis as well. So it's a lovely mix of things, and sepsis on top of that.
Oh, bless her. So she's gone through it, hasn't she? She really has.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, as a parent that has had a positive experience, what would your message be to other parents, single mums out there that don't know what sepsis is? What would your one message be?
To get some information. Definitely look into it. If you have any worries, if you have any little worry, call up, get some advice before it's too late. I've never seen my little girl look so sick before. It's heartbreaking.
It's just, and not many people are aware of it. So
they're not.
Before Madeline was diagnosed with it, did you know anything about sepsis? Is there any sepsis campaigns out in Australia?
Not over here, there's not, but I've heard of sepsis before, but like I said, I never thought it would happen to one of my kids. So it's like you can hear about it in other stories, but you never think it's going to happen to you.
No, absolutely. I completely agree. So Are you raising awareness out there? Have you done any
Definitely. It's
projects?
all over my Facebook. It's all over my Facebook.
Good, good. And do you have so, because I don't really know much about you know, the Australian support systems out there. Obviously, over here we've got the UK Sepsis Trust. In America, you've got Sepsis Alliance. Over in Africa, you've got the African Alliance, etc., etc., etc. Do you have anything out in Australia which is strictly for sepsis awareness?
I'm actually not too sure. I know there's a few Facebook pages, but there's nothing really official over here, I don't think.
Okay, so that could be something I can look into for you.
That'd be excellent.
And find out and see if because it is always it's always really nice to speak to professionals, that if there is a support system out there, if you do have any concerns, obviously as a parent, what you went through as well, like, it's not, I can't imagine it was nice for you.
It was horrifying.
So having just, even like, if there is a support system out there, because over here we've got the UK Sepsis Trust, and they support parents, survivors, bereavement, and they are amazing. So what I'll do is I'll look into that for you, and I will find out if there is any support system out there.
That'd be great.
Because it's always just handy to know, isn't it? Especially if you're not too sure on something, and you
Sounds good to me.
Someone. So
excellent.
How are your other kids? How did they?
They're good.
It?
So they were very aware that she was unwell when my daughter found her convulsing. But we never, you know, you see someone fitting, you think, oh no, something, you know, it's just a raging fever. You don't think the worst.
No.
But we've managed. We're getting through every day with her, making sure she's okay, and checking little things like little bumps and bruises that come up as well. But we've been very lucky.
It's good to obviously hear that you're just on top of it. You sound as if you're constantly
getting there,
checking her and making sure she's okay, and she's lovely. I will post a picture up of her after.
That sounds good.
So let's round this up, because I know you've got to get back to your kids. But thank you so much for joining me this morning.
You're more than welcome.
Or this evening, shall I say? I really appreciate it, and it's the one thing I love, is being able to speak to people from different countries to get a different insight into their healthcare. So it is interesting.
You are more than welcome.
It's just so refreshing to speak to someone that had just such a positive experience. And it just
you're more than welcome.
It just goes to show that people should have faith in their healthcare system, because
that's right.
You know, they dealt with Madeline so quickly, and she's
very quick.
So
that's right. Thank you for talking to me. I really appreciate it, and hopefully it helps some other people get some help as well.
I'm sure it will do. What I'll do is, so this is going to be recorded. I'm going to post it onto YouTube.
Okay.
Because obviously it's early morning here, so not many people would be on social media. So people will watch it later on. So,
that sounds excellent.
Watching later on. Thank you for watching.
Excellent.
And just thank you once again. I really, really appreciate it.
You are more than welcome.
All right, my lovely.
Thank you so much. Yes.
See you later.
You too. Bye.
Bye.